Okay, here we are with Jock O'Brien. How are you, Jock?
Good, thanks, sir.
Now, yeah, what's your, just wondering if, what's your full name there, Jock?
John Francis O'Brien.
John Francis O'Brien. Just wondering, did you have any siblings there, or what were you, how many brothers and sisters, or?
I had a sister, Gillian.
When?
It's non-committal at this stage.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about your parents' name? What were your parents' names?
Father's name was Jack and the mother's name was Kathleen, Cassie.
Cassie. Okay, where did you grow up there?
No, I was born in my grandmother's house in North Melbourne, Wood Street, North Melbourne.
Born and bred?
Yep. And I was brought in the world by the club president, Dr. Berman. And that's how I got my nickname, because my mother had 5 sisters. And when I was born, I wouldn't stop crying, so the doctor must have drove him crazy, and he yelled out, "If you don't shut up, I'll cut your jock off." And the sisters heard this outside the door, and they said, "I will call him Jock."
So you got a nickname real early?
Yeah. And I was christened a Catholic at St Michael's Church, but I don't follow the religion.
Okay. Northwood had a few Catholics back then.
Sure, yeah.
So, what did you do? What do you remember growing up? What was the times like? And
The times were tough,
yep.
but there were always ways and means, you know, that within the law, of course, you know, like having enough money to go to the movies, or we wouldn't pay to get into the football because we'd always go down and loosen a picket off the fence in Fogarty Street, and on the Saturday when the people were walking in a bunch, we'd pull this picket off and get in that way and go around collecting bottles till we had enough to buy a hot dog or a drink or something, and then go bonkers over the football.
Yep, and had North Fair back in those days.
Well, they had a pretty rugged team, and you know, I'm talking about say 48, 49, 50, and they were fortunate enough to make the grand final, and they had some pretty good players. But no side liked to play it because of their ruggedness, you know.
Yeah. All local boys, were they? Majority of them?
Yeah, majority, yeah. At one stage there was a lot of, I didn't find this out till later years, but there was sides like Ken Socials, Happy Valley, Fleming Ken, Northwest, Melrose Stars. I never knew they existed, but they did. Errol Stars, who Les Foote played for.
Okay.
Eric Parks, he played for them. And then invariably there'd be other teams as well.
So a lot of these were Sunday leagues, weren't they? They Sunday league teams, or?
Well, you know, the first 3 or 4 I mentioned were,
Yeah.
But I don't know when the others play.
So who was your favourite back in those days?
Well, he was Jock Spencer. Yeah, because he used to tell us to get out into Fogarty Street when he's having goal kicking practice, and invariably a footy had come over and we'd knock it off. If you had a football them days, you was king of the kids, you know.
Yeah. What would you used to play with if you didn't have a footy back then? What was it?
Well, rolled up newspaper, or socks. Yeah. And you know, footy boots are hard to get because of the money was pretty tight.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to go to school in a pair of, you know, boots, and then play in them on the Saturday, put some stops in them on the Saturday, you know.
Yeah.
And I was over the moon once when my grandmother took me down to Vic Market in the second-hand part and brought me a pair of football boots, you know. And I looked after them like I'd never looked after anything before, you know.
Well, like gold, you had a passion for the game, so
yeah.
You didn't get your nickname from Jock Spencer, by the thing.
No.
Now we can dispel that one.
Yeah.
So yourself, what was your journey like at North? So you played in the Colts?
No, I didn't play in the Colts. They had a lot of good players, and I didn't think I'd get a game, so I went and played with North United under 17s. It was formed down at the Kensington Hotel, and Mrs. Flynn, she was a great supporter of North over her lifetime. And we played the Colts, and I remember most of my mates, they played for the Colts, and they had a bloody good side. And one day up at our ground at Royal Park, which up near, if people recall, up near the Salvation Army hut, we only had 17 players. So the coach, the captain, I was vice captain, we went over to them and said, we've got 17 players, but there's a bloke over there, he's 18. Do you mind if we play him? And his name was Tony Fletcher, he come from Kensington. And the team manager at the time, Bill Liddy, to this day tells us that he didn't want to give permission, but the other people did, So we played this Tony Fletcher, and he never had a kick until the deadline, And he kicked the goal and we beat him.
And he got you over the line.
Yeah. So then they protested.
Yeah.
And they won the game on protest. So come the grand final, they're in the grand final against Princess Hill, and they get knocked off. They went through right to the grand final, winning a protest to remain undefeated, and went through undefeated, and they got knocked off. And
bit of karma set in.
And we were very happy about that.
You would have sympathised with
this day, this day, I bring that up once a year.
Anyone you bring it up with in particular?
Yeah, John Dugdale, Freddie Maguire, Ken Dean, Bill Liddy, and various others. But they were prominent players with the North Footy Club. Laurie DeWire's another one, So they had a real good side, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it was a good feeding.
Oh yeah.
Feeding club the North, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you played with Tony Chevrolet too, did you?
Yeah, Tony played. He
the secretary,
Pardon?
The secretary of the past players now.
Yeah, secretary of the past players. Yeah, he does a mighty job.
That's good. So you made your way from United, and how did you get spotted and invited up through the North?
Well, there was always someone looking somewhere. We used to half time in the league matches, you break your neck to get out in the ground and have a kick to kick. So right in front of the grandstand. So because in them days there was no entertainment at half time, and we were allowed on the ground, and then I went and played. I put my age up. That's right. I put my age up to do national service, and got away with it. I'd done that in 1955, and when I come out of Nashos, each leave I played for Happy Valleys, in open age, and I qualified for the finals, and when I finished the 90 days or 98 days, they were in the grand final at Richmond on the Sunday, so they picked me at full forward.
Yep.
And I recall this vividly because they were a rough and tumble side of the opposition. What was this? Anyway, and I was walking down one of the Happy Valleys guys said, "Now what's this bloke you're playing on?" They called him the Mad Dog, and he was a little bit smaller than me. But he looked at me and he said, "How you going, kid?" He said, "We're not after you, we're after them two blokes." And I kicked 9 goals. Yeah, won the grand final, so...
Did you word to him afterwards and said you should have been on?
No, I never shook hands before or after a game.
Okay, yeah.
And I never seen so much money in my life bet on a football game.
In that
particular match, yeah.
Who was the red hot favourite for Richmond too?
Probably even money.
Even money? Yeah.
Southern Stars, they were called.
Southern Stars,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so then the